Here, we're taking a look at Cohesity Helios, and at the moment, I need to switch over the context to our Security tab, which I will do now. From here, we can take a look at all the different anomalous snapshots that we've received over the course of varying degrees of time. In this particular case, I'm doing last month. I'm looking for a particular device in question. In this particular case, it's 382 lab-02. This device has been exhibiting some anomalous behavior, and I want to take a look at it and drill into it. For instance, we do have some notifications letting us know that there is an anomalous snapshot, and we can take a look at the trends overall to see that, yes, something was definitely out of the ordinary. Now, in this particular case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand this over to my SecOps team and have them look and drill deeper into this. Greg, why don't you take a look at this particular anomalous behavior for me?
Thanks, John. In fact, our SecOps team already saw this incident in SecureX and are looking into it. So before I demonstrate what the SecOps workstream might look like, first I want to provide a tour of some key capabilities and functions of SecureX. Understanding these functions will allow you to see how SecureX provides tremendous value in making security operations more efficient and effective, saving critical time security operators already do not have enough of. Through partnerships like we have with Cohesity, you can expand your capabilities and recapture a lot of lost operational time. What we're showing on the screen right now is the Securex Dashboard. When you first log into SecureX, you get this quick view of a number of pieces of data being reported by the different integrated tools. You see in this example, you have some secure firewall, some cloud analytics, some secure endpoint, but a number of tools can be integrated in the dashboard and customized whatever way you see the most efficient for a single view of the data relevant to you. At the bottom of the dashboard, you'll see we have this ribbon. As you click on the ribbon and it flies out, you'll see a number of tools. We have cross launches to integrated applications. We have access to a casebook. A casebook is where you can collect different elements and data relevant to an investigation or a threat hunt, and incidents. We're going to spend a lot of time in incidents in a moment. As we go into incidents, we see we have a list of the different incidents as reported by different tools. In this case, we see some Cisco Stealth Watch Enterprise, Cisco Next Generation Firewall. Of course, Cohesity Helios has a number of alerts brought up in here, and a number of other tools like Cloud Analytics and Secure Endpoint. For each alert raised, we have a number of pieces of data being reported. We have a summary of what the event is, different details of the event, observables that are related to the event, and so on. You'll also notice there's an Investigate Incident button up here, which we're going to also focus in on a moment. So from the incidents list, we have access to a number of pieces of information. In this case, we have observables that are being reported by Stealth Watch Enterprise. Every observable will have its pivot menu. From this pivot menu, we have access to a number of more tools, whether we're pivoting to other UIs for other tools or taking actions with things like the Securex Orchestration workflows. We're going to definitely focus more on this in a moment. As I mentioned, this Investigate Incident button is very important. Through SecureX, you have access to what's called threat response. There's multiple ways to launch into threat response, one of which is manually. We can open up threat response, and from here, we can plug in any items that we find relevant to doing a threat hunt, such as an IP address, a domain, etc., and we can click Investigate. But of course, we're trying to minimize the amount of clicks and the amount of effort to get to resolution. So other ways we can run this are, for example, you can be outside of SecureX. You can be reading an alert on CISA.gov, for example, and using the browser plugin, have access to threat investigations right from that same web page. Select the items you want to search on and investigate in threat response. It will automatically open up threat response, pre-populated with all those elements and those observables that you want to search for without you having to click through and copy. The third way you can launch threat response is from these incidents. Now here, let's get into the Cohesity Helios example. We want to perform an investigation on this particular incident. So let's go to observables, click on Investigate Incident. In this case, there's just one. That's how Cohesity reports to SecureX, and Investigate selected. Now we really show the power of SecureX. With those couple of clicks, we are now searching through all the integrated products for any occurrence of relevant information to that particular entry and that observable from the incident. What we wind up with is this connections graph showing all the different observables that host was observed doing throughout the enterprise. So you see, we started with a single element called 382 lab, and we found, by searching all the different integrations, it's actually had made a number of connections and connection attempts to different malicious and suspicious IP addresses and websites. It's very clear that this host is behaving anomalously. Additional items on this page are the sightings, which shows the graph over time of what's been seen. Across the top, we have some other elements like targets and what's been investigated and related information, and the modules that reported relevant information. Now, even though it says 8 modules here, it's actually searched all integrated modules, which is about 12 in this environment, but only 8 of them actually provided relevant information, so it shows you that up here. If it wasn't as obvious that this device was performing malicious actions, we could scroll down further and dig in deeper to the different elements that have been reported back on. But in this case, we know we want to take action. One way we can take action, again, is the pivot menu, as I described in the ribbon. Same actions, same availability. We can open the pivot menu and gain access to the additional capabilities of Securex. So one more part of Securex we're going to show before we actually go ahead and take these actions. Securex Orchestration. Securex Orchestration is a development platform that allows you to create workflows to connect to any API accessible tool, whether it's a Cisco tool, Cohesity, or other third parties. If there's an API, you can use orchestration to connect to it and take action. Cisco and partners like Cohesity and others publish workflows for you to get you started so that you don't have to build them from scratch. In this case, Cohesity has published multiple workflows, one referred to as Recover from Anomaly. So with this workflow, we don't even have to go back to the Cohesity UI. I, as a threat hunter, can take action directly from Securex and restore that workload back to the last known good state. Now, even though Cohesity publishes this workflow and allows you to import it directly with all the steps required to complete that action, you can modify this by yourself using built-in activities that Cisco and partners publish for you. Maybe your environment, you want to create a ServiceNow ticket. So you take the ServiceNow action, drop it in your workflow, connect your API, send it the description, and now you can have a ServiceNow ticket created as part of this workflow. Maybe you have an approval process you have to follow. The threat researcher might be responsible for determining the necessary action, but maybe somebody else actually has to approve it before you let it go through. So in this case, you create approval request right into the workflow. Now this workflow that Cohesity provided has been modified to fit my particular organization's current process. That's orchestration in a nutshell. Going back to what started this demonstration, we know that this host has been behaving maliciously, and Cohesity has raised an alert because of that. From here, we're going to click the pivot menu in the workload, and we're going to run the Cohesity Helios Recover from Anomaly workflow. I click that, and I'm done. Hey, John, we took a look at that workload, as you pointed out, and have ran the workflow to recover it. Let us know if there's anything else we can do.
Thanks, Greg. I'm going to take a look one more time through our list and make sure that that particular anomalous behavior has been flagged and no longer available for us. So if I look through our list, I notice I no longer have Lab 02 listed in here. So Greg, thanks for this. Thanks for the assist, and thanks for taking care of that particular device for me.